to the PI show. My name's Harry Nowicki. I'm a personal injury lawyer, together with here with Tony Carbone.
Good evening, viewers.
Personal injury lawyer, and we're here to talk about cases that are in the news. And the theme, we've got a few cases and topics to talk about tonight. But the first topic is an interesting case in Sydney, Tony.
Well, Harry, the theme we're going to be looking at tonight is bullying and harassment and that sort of thing right across the board, including police.
This is more than a bullying case, the police case.
This is assault. Look, the story is about Benjamin Price's bashing of victims. This is a Queensland senior constable who finally got caught out because one of his colleagues, a constable, Bree Sonta, whistleblower.
Yeah. No, she's referred to as the dog who turned against him.
Well, he's allegedly, now he's pleading guilty, so he's assaulted a barmaid, a merchant banker and a plasterer in the most gruesome of circumstances. You've got to see what he's done to these people, Harry.
But the interesting thing, I think they've all sued him, Tony, but the interesting thing is whether the state of Queensland, who is the employer, if you like, of the police officer, is liable for his criminal activities.
Well, Harry, he's bankrupt. If it happened in Victoria, I'd hazard to guess that the state wouldn't pay.
Well, Tony, you're involved. I was involved in a court case a number of years ago where the 4 police officers were found liable for assault, intentional torts and some bashings.
And the police force was not vicariously liable because they can't guard against intentional torts.
That was an argument that succeeded in this case, but I think after that case a number have settled out of court,
yes,
Tony.
Yes. Look, my understanding is that these 3 plaintiffs have been paid out.
I think two have been paid. The barmaid hasn't been paid. 2 of them have been paid out of court settlements. And you assume it's the Queensland government which is paid out.
And the plasterer got 725,000, Harry, so he must have got some pretty nasty injuries.
Yeah.
But get a load of this, he's done a deal with the DP, the equivalent of the Director of Public Prosecutions, where he's going to do a year's jail, and if he hadn't pled guilty, he could have got anything up to 3 or more years. And just to show you how remorseful he is, Harry, he said, I want you to all understand I've been forced into a corner by the QPS, which is our equivalent of Director of Public Prosecutions, and the dogs that turn against me. So I'm not sure how remorseful this bloke is.
No, well, look, we don't know the full facts of the case, Tony, but look, as I say, the interesting thing from the lawyer's point of view is does the state of Queensland pick up the liability of this person?
Well, see, I'm not really sure much about Queensland law, but there's subtle variations between the states. I think they've paid out the first 2 plaintiffs.
I think that's right.
And I'm not sure about...
no, the third one's still pending. The third one's still pending.
He's bankrupt, Harry, and I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, look, it's an interesting topic, and we'll probably have to come back to this in due course, Harry. Once we
No, the police officers, it's an unusual area of law.
It is. But Harry, this is an interesting one. This is a fellow, a Sunbury worker, who was severely bullied at work, Dean Hutchinson, sued his employer for not looking after him, and the CFMEU, who you had a bit to do with in the past, Harry.
Yeah.
And you probably know most of the delegates.
A few of the officials, yeah.
Yeah.
And the secretary as well.
This is fantastic. Not only do you get a payout, but they've also got the employer to advertise in the local paper and publicly apologising to the union and the worker that was bullied.
Yeah, no, look,
I haven't seen that before.
The CMFU are a pretty active union and they do things in an unusual way, and it's an unusual remedy where they say, in addition to the liability you've got to make a public apology, and they would have said probably either you apologise or there will be consequences.
Well, Harry, this is beautiful. The employer says they conduct themselves akin to a terrorist organisation, and I think they're no different to Al-Qaeda. So I think those comments there...
Well, look, these are some of the extreme cases of bullying, and I think It's happened at work, so it's covered under the Accident Compensation Act, and there's negligence, and no doubt there's a payout depending on how serious the injuries are. So,
But it's a credit to the union that they've actually got the employer to apologise, because hopefully it's a lesson to other people.
I agree.
know what I mean?
No, they do things in a. They're a proactive union.
Well, Harry, over the years,
They look after their members.
Yeah, how many times clients have come in to see me and they've said, you know, I would have just loved an apology. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just wanted them to say sorry.
Yeah,
for
I
what
think
happened.
I agree. That's an important part of the process, and this is a public apology.
Yes,
in
and
addition.
to actually get, you know, to move on, to be able to get some closure, and for someone to acknowledge that they've done wrong,
Yeah.
and just to come out in public, that's a big thing.
Yeah, no, look, that is significant in a lot of cases.
Well, Harry, the third one that I want to talk about is this bullying case in a school. And this was quite a severe case, and it was an out-of-court settlement of $290,000 to a teenage girl. And this was a case where the bullying was that severe that in the end, one of the classmates threatened to bring a gun to school to shoot the victim. And, you know, could she do it, Harry? I mean,
Well, 17, you know, the teenage kids, it's obviously happened in America, Tony, but not in Australia. But I think the threat was there, and it was a persistent conduct. But Tony, why is the school at fault?
well, they've got to protect these kids too, Harry. I mean, they've got
But
to have some proactive...
maybe if she had made no complaints to the school, they're not on notice. They've got a defence, Tony.
Look, in a lot of the cases I've read, and this one's one of those, Harry, I think the parents have gone to the school and spoken to the principal and also
So the school
teachers.
hasn't taken any remedial action.
They haven't taken appropriate
Tony,
remedial action.
If kids are bullied at school and they don't complain, what's the school supposed to do?
It's a problem. Unless they've got constructive notice of the bullying or someone else has actually complained on behalf of the child, you have got problems. I think the parents have got to come out and say, look, my child's having a problem. Initially, I'd do it discreetly. I'd go to the principal or coordinator and say, listen, my child's having a problem. Can you see if you can fix it? Because, I mean, ideally, I'm a bit like you. I think if you can make it smaller than bigger, sometimes...
But the school's got to have, at law, the school's got to have notice.
Oh, they've got to be under notice. Yeah.
So if they don't have notice, then there are problems and issues.
But this one here was a very blatant case, Harry. I mean,
These are extreme cases, Tony.
there was more than one person involved. There was a multitude of kids that were threatening this particular plaintiff.
Yeah, well, and look, $290,000.
I'll come back to it after the break because we've got to get our sponsors break, Harry.
All right.
Viewers, don't go away. Keep watching. We'll be back very shortly. Thank you.
Thank you.